Hi friends, it's Daira. Welcome back to my channel. So this is my daughter, and I recently brought her back to blonde. She's had a couple colors in her hair, but I wanted to, before I show you how I got her all the way back to blonde after all the transition, I wanted to show you where she started um, before I show you where she has ended up at. So as you can see, she already had blonde in her hair, and her root had grown in quite a bit. We don't touch up her hair regularly. We wait for it to grow out a little bit, and then we do redo her color. Problem with that is she ends up wanting something different all the time, so we end up doing different things. So I'm going to do her color. She had already washed her hair and just kind of let it air dry. So I'm just going through with the warm air and stretching her hair out a bit, just so we're not pulling and snagging on her hair while we're going through and applying the products. So I am using the blonde solution. It is pigmented, so it has violet in it to help combat against any orange tones. So I froze this so you can see she kind of has a band in the middle, and that just comes from us having a base color and then just doing highlights on it. So what I am going to do first is tackle her new growth. I am using a 10 volume on her root area. So what I'm going to do is I try to use the board and be real fancy, but sometimes it's better to just get your hands in there and get dirty. So I'm just applying the lightener to her root area, trying to make sure not to overlap it into the blonde colors. Now she does have a dark blonde, like kind of a dirty blonde color in there as well. So I didn't mind too much if it went over those darker spots, but I wanted to make sure that I didn't get it over the really light colors. So I'm just gonna go through and take smaller sections. I was parting it in a section that's not too thin but not chunky either. I just wanted to be able to saturate the hair easily. So I just took about, I would say, a half an inch to an inch section, just to be able to, like I said, control and saturate it without any issues. So I'm just going through and doing that all over her head, and I am leaving her root darker because later on I will lighten it up a bit with color. She always leaves her root darker than the rest of her hair. That's the look that she likes. Even when she lightens it as well, she still always wants it to be darker than the rest. So I'm leaving that out because I can easily lighten that with a base breaker, or in this case I use the Wella Toner, and what that does is lighten it up a bit. I believe I used the beige blonde color with this. Was actually a long time ago. We do her hair every few months or so. So this has been quite a while, and you'll see with the other videos that she went through a bit of a transition with different colors, and this was like the very beginning. She wanted to be all the way blonde, all the way blonde. And it was funny because she didn't like it for long. She played around with it for a little bit and then was like, nah, this all blonde is just too much. So we moved on to the next thing. So once her root got to the level of lightness that I wanted, what I did was mixed up another batch of lightener. I did still use the blonde solutions, and this time I used 5 developer with it, and I just wanted to do that to lighten up the darker pieces a little bit more, because like I said, she wanted to be all the way blonde. And the blonde pieces that she already had were a little golden, and then she had the other darker pieces in there. So I was trying to bring up the darker pieces to a lighter color and remove the toner and brighten up the lighter pieces. So with this step, I did not leave it in for too long because she was already light, so it didn't really take much to remove the color in those parts. And remember, I showed you the banding that she had where her base color previously was. So I wanted to make sure that I removed that. So this is what we got. She's fairly blonde. As you can see, those darker pieces are still there. However, they're not as dark as they were. So now I'm just going to go through with the Wella Toner that I told you about, and I'm going to apply that all over. And what that is going to do is tone the blonde, but also lift her root color that I did not apply lightener to. If you're thinking about going blonde or doing any processes to your hair like this, you have to take into consideration that it is extremely high maintenance. My daughter is lucky she has me. She could just come to the salon and I give her all the treatments that she needs. I teach her how to do the treatments herself, just to make sure that her hair stays as healthy as possible. But even though you do treatments and you take care of your hair, you are damaging your hair with the all this chemical processing. The key is maintaining it. If it's done right, you're not causing too much damage. As you can see, she still has her curls, and even in the beginning of this video, she still has her curls. She could still wear her curly wash and goes and stuff because it hasn't straightened her hair. You know, she still has that curl that she can work with. However, that can easily go left if you don't do it properly, or if you don't maintain. A lot of times people want to come and get their hair colored and don't realize that most of the work is done after. You want to make sure your hair remains moisturized. You want to use quality products. You want to make sure that you continue with treatments, whether they be a bond building treatment or conditioning treatment, or even a protein treatment, even though you don't need protein treatments unless you're having some sort of breakage in your hair and you need to strengthen your hair. But whatever it may be, whatever kind of treatments you may need, you need to be willing to either do it yourself or, you know, have the funds to go get it done. But you don't ever want to neglect your hair when you get color services. It doesn't even have to be light services like this. This does require more maintenance. However, just any kind of color or alteration that you do to your hair does require maintenance. So that's something that you want to think about and make sure that you would have the money and time to do when you decide to get color in your hair. So yeah, so this is the toner, like I said. So I just applied that. I gave her all the necessary treatments that I needed her to have. And this is what we are left with. As you can see, it did bump up her root. And this is the colorway that she normally likes when she has the other tones in. So now we're working with it with this lighter blonde. So as you saw, I did go through and just straighten her hair. I did use my FHI flat iron, and then I'm just going through and trimming her hair. I like to trim hair after color services, especially after a lightening service. The ends are the weakest part of your hair. So, whenever you're doing any chemical processes, they can get really dry. So, I just go through and just clean it up. She needed a trim anyway, so I'm just going through and cleaning her ends up for her. And then she also wanted me to apply some extensions. So I did do those off camera. What I did was just apply a couple of tracks using microlinks because it was like a temporary thing. She didn't want to keep them in for too long. So I just applied a couple of tracks using the microlinks. Here I am blending them in as she looks super cheerful. I'm always getting on to her every time I do videos. I'm like, people are gonna think I'm forcing you to do your hair. But yes, I'm just putting in a couple of curls at the very bottom because we did wrap it. So it's just gives a better wrap and sets a little bit better when you put some loose curls in the hair. All right, guys. So this is her super blonde hair. I like to call it a her sunflower color. I'm applying a little bit of the Cara Care Edge Control, and this was a while ago because I now have my own brand of Edge Control. If you guys are interested in that, make sure to check the description for my website that I use to sell all my products. So I just applied some of that, and I'm just combing her edges back. I don't normally put too much heat on them just because I don't want them to dry out. So yeah, guys, this is what her hair is looking like. She did not keep this color for long. She realized after harassing me that she wanted to be fully blonde, that she didn't want to be fully blonde. So she wore this for a little bit. As you can see, even though she felt like it was too much blonde, she was feeling herself. And this, I don't know what setting I had my camera on, but as you can see, it looks kind of golden. So it made her hair look even more golden. I know I took some pictures. I'm going to try to find them and put them at the end of this video. so that you can get a better representation of what the color looked like. It was actually outside. I'm going to try to put that at the end, guys. But anyway, this is the step 1 in this series that I'm doing of the color transformations I have done to her hair. It was cute. It was a moment. And then we moved on to the next one. Let me know your comments down below. Stay tuned for the next one in a day or 2. You'll see it because I'm going to schedule them all up. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. If you aren't already, please make sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in my next one.